Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is February 16th, 2018. The time is just a little after 2 p.m. I'm Ann Levinson, Chair of the PDC, and I'll be the presiding officer for today's brief adjudicative hearings. For the record, these proceedings are being held at the Public Disclosure Commission office in Olympia, Washington. We're conducting them under the authority of our CW 3405, the Administrative Procedure Act, and relevant PDC statutes and rules, and we are audio recording. So the first matter we have up this afternoon is PDC case number 8911, and Patrick McElligott, is that correct? All right, is present. He's the respondent in this case, and I'm going to start by swearing in the PDC staff and asking Mr. Young then to present the case, and then I'll turn to you if you have anything you want to add. I'll swear you in and you can do the same. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll be providing today is the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair Levinson. For the record, I'm Kurt Young, PDC Compliance Officer. Before I begin my presentation, there were some minor discrepancies discovered in the initial stipulation that had been executed by both parties. I've made those corrections. Those were some errors on my part, and we provided you with an amended signed stipulation, which I will now summarize. On July 5th, 2015, Patrick K. McElligott filed a candidate registration C1P report declaring his candidacy for Fire Commissioner in East Pierce County Fire and Rescue District in 2015, selecting the full reporting option. Mr. McElligott was elected Fire Commissioner in November. Prior to that, he had ran for the same position in 2011 and was defeated in the general election. Mr. McElligott has served as a board member for the Washington State Investment Board from 1997 through February 2003, timely filing his annual financial affairs statements or the F1 report for those years. In addition, prior to that, he was an officer for the Washington State Council of Firefighters and a lobbyist for them, and filed monthly lobbyist expense reports through May of 1997, which were also timely filed. On October 12, 2015, the committee to elect Pat McElligott, the campaign, filed one C3 report on paper disclosing $9,274 in contributions that have been received from 18 contributors, primarily from local firefighter associations from around the state. C3 report disclosed monetary contributions received during September 1st through the 28th of 2015, which should have been disclosed on 3 separate C3 reports based on the deposit dates. Those contributions were disclosed between 10 and 37 days late, but prior to the general election being held. Campaign also filed one C4 report manually on paper prior to the 2015 general election, disclosing $9,274 in the contributions that were in the C3 report and $490 in expenditures. A 21-day pre-general election C4 report was due to have been filed by the respondent on October 13th. The C4 report that was filed was 2 days late, but it only covered calendar month September, so it missed 12 days of the first report period of October. After becoming aware of the complaint, on July 12, 2017, Carol Wagner, performing ministerial duties for the campaign, sent an email to the PDC and attached copies of 3 signed paper-filed C4 reports and 2 C3 reports. The C4 report disclosed $10,395 in total contributions had been received by the campaign, which included a new additional $1,120 in contributions since the last report, and it also listed $8,595 in expenditures with a cash on hand balance of $1,799. Those reports were filed between 550 and 639 days late, disclosing an expenditure for a printer, printing a flyer and mailing it, and another flyer, and a $500 expenditure to Ms. Wagner, and 2 reimbursements to Mr. McElligott, total $476. The paper-filed C3 reports were filed between 633 and 581 days late for the $1,120. And then on September 7th, 2017, Ms. Wagner electronically filed the C3 and C4 reports that she was required to do. The campaign had made an expenditure of $364 on October 15th, 2015. That, when combined with the other campaign expenditures, exceeded the $5,000 requirement for filing electronically. Based on the stipulation of facts, Mr. McElligott stipulates that he violated RCW 4217A 235 and 240 by failing to timely file C3 and C4 reports disclosing contribution and expenditure activities, and RCW 4217A 245 by failing to file the C3 and C4 reports electronically in the ORCA, or online reporting of campaign activities software provided by the PDC. In determining the appropriateness of the penalty, staff reviewed the penalty factors. In the matter at hand, it was an aggravating factor that the non-compliance deprived the public of information during a time-sensitive period prior to an election, and the reports were filed on paper, so the public had to go view the reports on the website and scroll through those rather than just query the database. There were several mitigating factors that staff took into consideration. The respondent's campaign was for an office and was that's down ballot and unsophisticated and small. The complaint was filed on October 13th, 2016, 346 days late after the general election. And then when staff initially attempted to inform Mr. McElligott about the complaint, we sent an email to a 2015 Gmail campaign address, which was no longer being checked. So the campaign was not aware that the campaign finance reports were out of compliance or that the complaint had even been filed until the middle part of 2017. Additional factors, Mr. McElligott has no prior PDC violations, including in filing the L2 reports or the F1 reports. He is in compliance with his two F1 reports since being elected fire commissioner, and he does over-report by April of this year. He's fully complied. With that, he's cooperated and took responsibility for the late filing. And lastly, 89% of his contributions were received from the local firefighters associations were disclosed prior to the election being held. Based on the stipulation of facts set forth in my testimony and in the signed amended stipulation in accordance with the penalty schedule, staff is recommending you accept the stipulation in which Mr. McElligott agrees to pay $500 with $250 suspended on the following conditions. One, Mr. McElligott is not found to have committed any further violations of 4217A or WAC 390 within the next 4 years from the order date. Two, Mr. McElligott pays the non-suspended portion of the penalty within 30 days of the date of the order. Three, as noted, Mr. McElligott is in compliance with the PDC reporting requirements and affirms that his intention to comply in good faith in the future. Staff encourages you to recommend to accept the stipulation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No, it's a very good, thorough presentation. Thank you. Would you like to add anything?
Please.
Okay. If you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll provide in this hearing will be the total truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. And if you can just turn that microphone to you. And
My name is Pat McElligott, Commissioner for East Pierce Fire and Rescue. I want to compliment the PDC for their work. They did a great job. And the only thing I have to say, if there's anything that I have to say, is that, first of all, it's on me. I was a candidate. I'm the one running. But I had actually had Carol Wagner run my paperwork. And in this time period, by running and all the other paperwork, I thought I had completed all the paperwork, and I think Carol did too, because it was the closure of the campaign. And then in 2011, or when Mr. Young said, if we would have known about that one, we wouldn't be sitting here for 2015. But it still falls on me. And I just want to make it very clear that this is my responsibility. And over the years, as you run for offices and figure out what is actually needed out of you, that you start following the rules, because as of now, not only am I a commissioner, but I'm also now a member of the Left 2 Retirement Board, which actually has the same filing stipulations again that I'm going to do. And as I said, I've tried to make sure that I've filed all those on time. Running for office is different than filing for those, but like anything else, if money's money, and I appreciate the 250. If there's any other mitigating circumstances to drop that even more, I'd be happy. But I actually showed up a month ago and tried to write a check, so it's hard for me to say no. I'm not going to do it. So thank you.
We'll go ahead. Sorry.
Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate being able to be heard.
Well, I appreciate your comments, and I also appreciate you serving in these roles. These are important roles, and it's great that you're doing that. And
Just
Yes,
one
Mr.
thing, the complainant did complain about the 2011 campaign, but it
Right.
was beyond the five-year
Statute of
statute of
limitation,
limitations, so it
right.
wasn't
I noted
addressed
that
in
in
the
the record.
report or in any of that, and we've informed the complainant that that was outside our scope.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I have reviewed the detailed report of investigation. I've reviewed the proposed stipulation and heard from the parties. And so I'm going to go ahead and accept the stipulation as to facts, violation, and penalty as proposed. And I will find that the respondent has violated RCW 4217A 235, 240, and 245. I'll agree with the staff's recommendation to assess a penalty of $500, but suspend half of that based on those mitigating factors. And that's conditioned, as Mr. Young laid out, on compliance with the statute and rules going forward, 4 years to the date of the order, and that you pay that non-suspended part within 30 days. And you're otherwise in compliance, which it sounds like you are, so you're good on that third factor. Again, I really want to thank you for working this through with the staff. I know that the law can be overly technical and challenging at times for filers, and that it's different from position to position what the obligations are under the law, so I appreciate that. And I'm cognizant of the fact that it's a little bit of a more opaque than we would like it to be, and so I know people of goodwill often find themselves struggling a little bit with that compliance.
Run for office, take responsibility.
And I appreciate that. So thank you. And then there'll be an order within 10 days. We try to get these orders out officially. So, but you can pay the staff now if you want. You can do it after you get the order. Whatever you want to do is fine.
We came prepared to pay the fine. So just tell me what I need to do.
Actually, since we contract with Department of Enterprise Services for small agencies, they do collections for us, so they'll send you an invoice and then you can mail it to them. We don't really have the wherewithal to take a check and process it today.
See, I usually try to be funny, but
Yeah.
because this is official, I'm not
Right.
going to say another word.
Right.
No, but you
No,
and you've tried to.
You are welcome to say another word. This is the welcome to the small agency.
And he has tried to pay twice now, so
Yeah.
we assume you'll follow through on that third time. So
No, this is fine. And I've said it already, and it doesn't have to be said again, but the staff itself, and of course Kurt is the one that I work directly with and work with Carol. The agency did a great job. I mean, it was cordial. There was no pushback. And as I say, I mean, I wished if I would have known about the first one, I wouldn't have been sitting here for the second time. So keep on doing the great work. I think you guys do great work, and I appreciate the time that you guys, because this is also a appointed committee also, correctly?
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so I'll just wait for.
yeah, I'll send you through the email if that's acceptable.
Great.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to the next matter, which is PDC case number 25085. And I understand the respondent is calling in on this one?
That's correct.
Or are we calling out? We're calling. Are you going to tell me I have to have DES make the call?
Area code when dialing this number,
No 9?
followed by the
I
area.
was thinking, yeah.
No 9?
Make me happy for the future.
Hello, it's Craig.
Hello, Mr. Beckton. This is Kim Bradford from the PDC.
Yes, hi, Kim.
You are on speakerphone.
Hello, Mr. Buckton. This is Ann Levinson. I'm the chair of the PDC, and I'm going to be the presiding officer for your hearing today. I'll start by swearing in the staff and asking them to present the case, and then if you'd like to add something, I'll swear you in over the phone and ask for your comments.
Okay.
Okay? So for the record, the next matter is PDC case 25085. Respondent is Craig Buckton, a candidate for Fire Commissioner in King County Fire Protection District 20. And Mr. Reagans is going to present the case for PDC staff, so I'll ask him to raise his right hand and swear him in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury the testimony you're going to provide at this hearing will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. If you'll go ahead and present the staff's case, that would be great.
This is Micaiah Reagans, Compliance Coordinator. This is PDC case 25085 regarding Mr. Craig Buckton. Craig Buckton was a first-time candidate for Fire Commissioner of the King County Fire Protection District 20. Mr. Buckton is alleged to have violated RCW 42.17A.205 by failing to timely file a candidate registration C1 report and RCW 42.17A.700 by failing to timely file a personal financial affairs statement F1 report, disclosing financial information for the preceding 12 months. The C1 and F1 reports were due within 2 weeks of becoming a candidate or no later than June 2nd, 2017. The C1 report was filed by the PDC on November 25th, 2017, and the F1 report has been filed on November 29, 2017. On October 11, 2017, Craig Buckton signed and filed a statement of termination of campaign with the Public Disclosure Commission. The campaign termination statement explains that if the candidate wins and accepts the office, the PDC will conduct enforcement action for failure to timely file reports required by RCW 42.17A. On November 28, 2017, Craig Buckton notified PDC staff that he did not expect to win the 2017 election and that he was encouraged by his colleagues to fill the seat. On December 7, 2017, PDC staff confirmed that Craig Buckton won the election after terminating his campaign with the PDC. On January 3, 2018, PDC staff contacted the King County Fire Protection District 20 and verified that Craig Buckton accepted the office after winning the election. PDC staff notified Craig Buckton to prepare for enforcement action as indicated in the termination statement. On February 2, 2018, PDC staff sent a hearing notice for today's brief enforcement hearing. On February 12, 2018, PDC staff contacted the King County Elections Office to verify that Craig Buckton was appointed to Fire Commissioner for the King County Fire Protection District 20. PDC staff recommends that the Commission assess a $300 fine for the missing C1 and F1 reports, consistent with the penalty schedule at WAC 390-37143 for a first offense when the report has been filed by the date of the enforcement hearing.
So, Mr. Reagans, in your view, the respondent is now in full compliance?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Buckman, would you like to be heard?
Well, I could explain the circumstances if
All right.
no,
If you'll just pause for 1 second, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. I decided originally to run for office. The longstanding commissioner, to my understanding, was not going to be able to do it anymore because of his health. And as a favor to some individuals up there, I was asked if I would run. So I went ahead and put my name in. Really not sure how the election process works. I tried to figure it all out online. To my knowledge, about a month or two later, I had heard he was going to run again, and I decided to withdraw from the election. And in doing so, apparently, I still had needed to file one in a C1 report, and I did not. I did not know that. I did also not know that my name was going to appear on the election. At that point, there was nothing to do, so it was there, and a lot of votes came in for me. I talked to a few people up there, and they encouraged me that if I had won the election, they would still like me to accept the position. And so I did. And I was in contact with the PDC prior to doing that about what I would need to do if I did decide to accept the position.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, no, that's okay.
Okay. And Mr. Reagans, anything else you would like to add?
No, Madam Chair.
All right. Based on the record that I've reviewed, I do find that the record supports a violation of RCW 4217A205 by the respondent failing to timely file the candidate registration, the C1 report, and by failing to RCW 4217A700 by failing to file a timely personal financial affairs statement, the F1 report, for the preceding 12 months. Based on staff's representation that Mr. Buckton is now in compliance, I will accept the recommendation to assess the penalty in the amount of $300 in accordance with our penalty schedule, which is WAC 390-37-143. And that's the penalty for a filer's first occasion where the missing reports have been filed prior to the date of the brief enforcement hearing. Mr. Buckton, do you have any questions about that?
No, I do not.
All right. Ms. Reagans, anything else for the record?
That is all.
All right. Mr. Buckman, a written order memorializing today's oral ruling will be sent to you within 10 days. All right?
Okay.
And you'll need to make sure to pay the penalty within 30 days in order to be in compliance.
30 days within compliance. Okay.
Okay?
I'll look for that in the mail.
All right. Thank you so much. That concludes
Thank
the
you.
proceeding.
And that concludes our participants, so I think I've got one more page.
Yep. All right.
After that.
Okay, so the third matter is PDC case 30377. There, the respondent is Chad Johnson, who is a candidate for school director in Kittitas School District.
Yes. PDC case 30377 regarding Mr. Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson was a first-time candidate for school director of the Kittitas School District 403. Mr. Johnson is alleged to have violated RCW 42.17A.700 by failing to timely file a personal financial affairs statement, F1 report, disclosing financial information for the preceding 12 months. The F1 report was due within 2 weeks of becoming a candidate, or no later than June 2nd, 2017. The F1 report has been filed with the PDC on January 8, 2018. On June 5th, 2017, Chad Johnson signed and filed a statement of termination of campaign with the Public Disclosure Commission. The campaign termination statement explains that if the candidate wins and accepts the office, the PDC will conduct enforcement action for failure to timely file reports required by RCW 42.17A. On December 7, 2017, PDC staff confirmed that Chad Johnson won the election after terminating his campaign with the PDC. On January 3, 2018, PDC staff contacted the Kittitas School District and verified that Chad Johnson accepted the office after winning the election. PDC staff notified Mr. Johnson to prepare for enforcement action as indicated in the termination statement. On January 3, 2018, Mr. Johnson submitted a written response to the PDC, retracting his statement of termination and indicating that he submitted the termination statement by mistake due to an influx of other paperwork. On February 2, 2018, PDC staff sent a hearing notice for today's brief enforcement hearing. On February 12, 2018, PDC staff contacted the Kittitas County Elections Office to verify that Chad Johnson was appointed as school director for the Kittitas School District 403. PDC staff recommends that the commission assess a $150 fine for the missing F1 report, consistent with the pendency schedule at WAC 390-37143, for a first offense when the report has been filed by the date of the enforcement hearing.
All right. And is there any indication that the respondent didn't receive notice from this hearing? Did you get anything back?
Oh, the candidate was served, and he contacted me as well on the phone.
Okay. And he let you know that he didn't wish to appear or participate today?
That is correct.
Okay. So that would be good to, unless I missed it, that would be good to include in the record.
Yes.
All right. So based on my review of the record, I'll concur with the staff's recommendation in this, find a violation and impose a penalty in the amount of $150 consistent with our penalty schedule for a filer's first occasion where the missing report was filed prior to the date of the brief enforcement hearing. We'll again issue a written order within 10 days, and that penalty must be paid within 30 days of that order. Anything else in this matter?
That is all, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. So the fourth matter, Mr. Blackhorn, you're going to present? All right, let me swear you in. You solemnly swear or affirm that under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're going to provide today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. And this, for the record, this fourth matter is PDC case 25919.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. So PDC case 25919 involves Aaron Gray, a former Parks and Recreation Commissioner for the Central Klickitat Parks and Recreation District, who was appointed commissioner on January 27th, 2016, and held that office until December 31st, 2017. As an appointed Parks and Recreations Commissioner, Ms. Gray was required to file an F1 in accordance with RCW 4217A 700 not later than April 17th, disclosing financial activities for calendar year 2016. As of the date of this hearing, no F1 report has been filed by Ms. Gray. On June 19th, 2017, PDC sent a warning letter to Ms. Gray concerning the F1 report to the address which was provided to the PDC by the Central Klickitat Parks and Recreation District, which was PO Box 640, Goldendale, Washington 98620. This address is the mailing address for the Central Klickitat Parks and Recreation District, and the mail was returned by the U.S. Postal Service. On October 10th, 2017, PDC staff contacted the Goldendale pool manager at the phone number listed by the jurisdiction and was provided a telephone number to contact Ms. Gray. PDC left a message for Ms. Gray concerning the missing F1 report, requesting that she file the missing F1 report before staff sends out brief enforcement hearing notices. On October 11th, 2017, PDC staff sent out warning letters to two addresses associated with Ms. Gray as follows: P.O. Box 971 in Goldendale, Washington 98620, and 46 Potts Lane, Goldendale, Washington 98620. The warning letter sent to Ms. Gray at the 46 Potts Lane address was returned to the PDC. The one sent to the P.O. Box was not. On December 6, 2017, PDC staff queried the Lexis Accurant database, which is an address and phone number finder, to determine if there were other possible mailing addresses or telephone numbers that are associated with Ms. Gray. PDC staff located a telephone number for the 76 Potts Lane address and contacted the number, which actually turned out to be the telephone number for Ms. Gray's parents. So PDC staff left a message with Ms. Gray's mother requesting that Ms. Gray file the missing F1 report to avoid a hearing and possible penalties, and to call the PDC if she had any questions. Ms. Gray's mother indicated she would pass the message along. On February 2nd, 2018, PDC staff sent a hearing notice to Ms. Gray for a February 16, 2018 brief enforcement hearing. The hearing notice was sent to the Central Klickitat Parks and Recreation District mailing address at P.O. Box 640, Goldendale, Washington 98620. In addition, consistent with WAC 390-3706 or sub 4, the hearing notice was also transmitted electronically by email to Ms. Gray's email address provided by the Park District. On February 8th, 2018, PDC staff contacted the Klickitat County Elections Office, who confirmed that Ms. Gray was, one, appointed to Parks and Recreation Commissioner on January 27th, 2016, and that her term of office ended on December 31st, 2017, and two, was registered to vote at the P.O. Box 971, Goldendale, Washington 98620. Ms. Gray was required to have filed an F1 report within 2 weeks of being appointed on January 26, 2016, or not later than February 9th, 2000. That's supposed to be 2016. Staff reviewed the 2016 mandatory filer enforcement for annual officials and found that in that year, Ms. Gray was sent an F1 warning letter in July of 2016, but it was returned as undeliverable. It does not appear that an alternative address was found to resend the warning letter at that time, and no hearing notice was sent. So, addressing the matter of the 2017 requirement, PDC staff recommends that the presiding officer find a violation of RCW 4217A 700 and assess a $250 civil penalty against Ms. Gray for failing to file an F1 report for calendar year 2016. The $250 penalty is in accordance with WAC 390-37-143 for a filer's first occasion when the missing report has not been filed by the date of the enforcement hearing. PDC staff would also request that the presiding officer take into account the following mitigating factors in determining whether any portion of the $250 penalty should be suspended in that case. And if so, that suspension would be contingent upon further compliance with RCW 4217A and WAC 390 for the period of the next 4 years. The mitigating factors are that Ms. Gray is no longer a Parks and Recreation Commissioner. We've had repeated issues concerning service of the warning letters and hearing notices. The Central Klickitat Parks and Recreation District is a small park district with a lack of sophistication that consists of running the Golden Dale Pool for 6 to 7 months that the pool is open, and 2 parks. According to the Washington State Audit Report, the district only had an annual budget of approximately $300,000 from 2011 through 2013.
And are you recommending in that suspension the payment of the underlying amount in any particular time period?
So what I'm recommending with the suspension is that you assess a $250 penalty, suspended contingent upon filing within the next 30 days and future compliance for the next 4 years.
And no further communication, either obviously the respondent's not here today, there's no counsel here?
No.
Okay.
And the voicemail that I left on the identified voicemail provided by the Golden Dale Pool manager did identify itself as Aaron. Could have been a different Aaron, there was no last name, but I doubt it.
And you said this verbally, but just to affirm, the record didn't indicate this, that the respondent never did file. So
Correct.
just want to confirm that. All right. Okay. In the matter of PDC case 25919, I find that the record does support a violation of RCW 4217A 700 by failing to timely file a personal financial affairs statement, the F1 report, which was due no later than April 17, 2017, disclosing financial information for the prior calendar year. Having found a violation for failing to timely file, I will assess a penalty in the amount of $250 in accordance with our penalty schedule, which is WAC 390-37-143. That's the penalty when a filer's first occasion for the missing report and the report has not been filed prior to the brief enforcement hearing. Taking into account the mitigating factors presented by the staff, I'll suspend $150 of that penalty on the condition that the respondent is not found to have committed any further violation of RCW 4217A or WAC 390 within 4 years of the date of the order in this matter, that she pays the non-suspended portion, that's the $100, within 30 days from the date of the order, and files her F1 by the same deadline, so that she will be in compliance with her PDC reporting requirements. If she is not in compliance, the PDC staff are directed to move ahead to impose the full penalty amount and refer the matter to DES for collections per our usual protocol.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Written order memorializing that oral ruling will be sent in 10 business days, and that will conclude that matter. Let's do the final matter, which is PDC case 25923. Since I've already sworn you in, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So PDC case 25923 involves Ronnie Little, an incumbent fire commissioner for King County Fire Protection District number 40. Ronnie Little was elected to that office in 2009, and her current term is set to expire on December 31st, 2022. As an incumbent fire commissioner, Ms. Little was required to file a personal affairs statement F1 report in accordance with RCW 4217A 700 not later than April 17th, 2017, disclosing financial activities for calendar year 2016. As of the date of this hearing, no F1 report has been filed by Ms. Little. On June 19th, 2017, PDC staff sent a warning letter to Ms. Little concerning the missing F1 report to the address provided to the PDC by King County Fire Protection District 40, which was 14120 171st Way Southeast, number C303, Renton, Washington 98058. Ms. Little included the same address on the last F1 report she filed, which was received February 18th, 2014. The June 19th, 2017 warning letter sent to Ms. Little was returned to the PDC by the U.S. Postal Service. On October 11th, 2017, PDC sent out warning letters to 2 addresses associated with Ms. Little as follows. P.O. Box 58414, Renton, Washington 98058, and 18002 108th Avenue Southeast, Renton, Washington 98055. To date, neither of those warning letters have been returned to the PDC by the U.S. Postal Service. On December 6, 2017, PDC staff queried the Lexis Accurate database to verify the mailing address for Ms. Little and to determine if there were other possible mailing addresses or telephone numbers associated with Ms. Little. PDC staff called the telephone number and left a voicemail on an unidentified voicemail box concerning the missing F1 report. PDC staff also spoke with a King County Fire Protection District 40 staff member who verified that Ms. Little is still a fire commissioner. In reviewing their website, the jurisdiction's website, staff confirmed that Ms. Little will serve as fire commissioner until December of 2022. PDC staff also left a voicemail on the voicemail box for the jurisdiction. On February 2nd, 2018, PDC staff sent a hearing notice for the February 16th, 2018 brief enforcement hearing. This notice was sent to the physical mailing address, which had not returned mail, at 18002 108th Avenue Southeast, Renton, Washington 98005. Consistent with WAC 390.37.060 sub 4, the notice was also delivered electronically to the email address provided by the jurisdiction, which was ronnie751@yahoo.com. Ms. Little has prior PDC enforcement history. In PDC case 16-039, during a July 30th, 2015 brief enforcement hearing, Ms. Little was found in violation of RCW 42-17A 700 by failing to file an F1 report for calendar year 2014, which was due not later than April 15th, 2015. At that hearing, Ms. Little was assessed a penalty of $150 for the missing F1 report in accordance with the F1 penalty schedule adopted by the Commission, which was effect in that time. PDC case 16-127 was heard at an August 13th, 2015 brief enforcement hearing, and in that hearing, Ms. Little was found in violation of RCW 42-17A 205 for failing to file a candidate registration C1 report, which was due to be filed within 2 weeks of declaring her candidacy for the 2015 election. In that hearing, Ms. Little was assessed an additional penalty of $150 for the missing C1 report in accordance with the candidate C1 and F1 penalty schedule adopted by the Commission, which was effect in that time. Ms. Little has not filed the missing F1 report for PDC case 16039 or the missing C1 report for PDC case 16127. WAC 390.37.143, the brief adjudicative proceeding penalty schedule, states that a case will automatically be scheduled before the full commission when the respondent has not filed the disclosure forms that were subject of the prior violation at the time the current hearing notice is being sent. Both penalties assessed against Ms. Little remain unpaid and are at Alliance 1 for collections. In addition, the rule also states that if on the third occasion a respondent has outstanding penalties or judgments, the matter will be directed to the full commission for consideration. PDC staff recommends that based on the facts above, the presiding officer hold this matter over for a future enforcement hearing before the full commission.
Thank you. Having reviewed this record, it does suggest that Ms. Little has not filed a missing F1 report for PDC case 16039 or the missing C1 report for PDC case 16127. Based on that, and based on WAC 390.37.143, the case will be scheduled for the full commission. I will refer it over to our meeting, February 27th meeting, for a full enforcement hearing. Given that the respondent has not filed the disclosure forms that were the subject of the prior violation at the time the current hearing notice was sent. Let me ask you, Are you aware whether the fire district has any legal counsel?
I am not aware of that.
You might want to, before the full hearing, you
Mhm.
might want to check. And
Okay.
one of the things we've talked about a little bit in the past is if sometimes there's legal counsel for the government entity for which the individual works, that's a way to.
Give them a nudge.
Exactly right. And then if we have any more specifics regarding the status of collections, I'm assuming by this time they've added.
Yes, there are additional fees. I don't have the numbers.
You might just have those two with you at the next
For the full.
hearing.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Any other questions or information that needs to come before us? All right. So thank you to the staff for those presentations, and we will be adjourned.